I am a feminist. Whether that's activism or not, that just is what makes sense to me. These are just stories that feel interesting to me as an actor. I just find the characters interesting, the world's interesting, and it's something that I want to explore.
That at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
When Disney decided to remake Snow White, the announcement was more than just another casting choice. It was an invitation to a new era. In what seemed like a sudden move, Emma Stone was chosen to lead the upcoming live-action version of the iconic film, which raised immediate eyebrows. Was this a bold reimagining of a timeless classic, or just another attempt to cash in on nostalgia?
Single white male is a piece of shit, and the woman is the hero, and all authority is bad, and all business is bad, but government is good as social. And most people don't know what they're watching. She, unfortunately, sort of pulled the curtain back and people knew exactly what was going on.
The response was mixed, with a significant portion of the audience unsure if the decision was driven by genuine creativity or a calculated attempt to avoid the backlash of their previous Snow White remake. Yet there was no denying the excitement. Stone is, after all, one of the most talented actresses in Hollywood today. Disney's approach to this new iteration of Snow White is ambitious. In an era where movie reboots are constantly met with skepticism, especially when they come after a controversial failure like the last remake, Disney is banking on Stone's star power to shift the narrative.
Yeah, I have a clip of it.
Oh, okay, great.
Her being a retard.
Okay.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White.
That laugh.
That is
not going to be saved by
You
the
wrote
prince.
it?
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
While it is tempting to view this decision simply through the lens of marketing, it's clear that there's a desire to breathe new life into the film's classic charm. However, the true challenge lies in balancing the magic of the 1937 animated version with the complex, modern sensibilities that contemporary audiences crave. Stone's casting presents an intriguing opportunity. Can she capture the innocence and wonder of Snow White while infusing her with the depth and agency that today's moviegoers demand? The history of Disney's Snow White is deeply rooted in nostalgia. Its release in 1937 wasn't just a movie, it was a revolution in animation, the first full-length animated feature in cinema history.
It just takes a beloved movie and makes it much more boring and much less realistic. The movie is really, really bad.
That level of cultural significance means any remake will inevitably face the weight of expectations. Disney's 2023 version, with Stone as the lead, is no different. The previous attempt at a live-action remake starring Rachel Zegler received a cold reception from both critics and audiences, who criticized everything from its lack of charm to its overly modernized approach that clashed with the original's whimsical innocence.
Rights are on the line, folks.
The right to buy Cosby sweaters?
Come on.
That's the face of a serial killer.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
Emma Stone's casting, therefore, feels like a fresh start, a chance to wash away the memories of the past mistakes and recalibrate the Snow White legacy. Stone, famous for her roles in films like La La Land and Cruella, is known for her expressive acting and ability to blend humor with vulnerability. These qualities may provide the perfect combination to elevate Snow White beyond the one-dimensional figure she has often been depicted as, giving her the emotional depth and agency that many modern audiences crave. Yet there are those who wonder if the public's scars from the previous remake will heal so easily. Is it possible for this new film to succeed where the last one failed? The shadows of past mistakes hang heavy, and only time will tell whether this new version can sidestep the pitfalls of its predecessor.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Say it louder so your other eye can hear you.
So we didn't do that this time.
At the heart of the new Snow White is Emma Stone, a proven star capable of drawing large audiences to theaters. The casting of Stone was a strategic move aiming to connect with a wider demographic that might have turned away from the 2023 Snow White disaster. Fans know her for her versatility, her ability to handle both lighthearted comedic roles and deep emotional characters. But is she the right fit for a classic fairy tale? Some worry that her trademark wit and charisma may clash with Snow White's traditionally innocent and passive character. However, Stone has proven time and again that she is not afraid of reinvention. Her portrayal of Cruella de Vil in Cruella was a radical departure from the character's previous iterations, and it worked because she brought a fresh perspective to the table. If anyone can take a character as universally known as Snow White and make it her own without compromising the essence of the original, it's Stone. Still, this is a delicate balancing act, injecting modernity without stripping away the soul of the fairy tale. One of the most divisive elements in the previous Snow White remake was the portrayal of the dwarfs, or rather, their absence. The film's handling of this beloved group was met with backlash from fans, many of whom felt that the characters were unfairly altered or excluded to avoid potential controversy. In a world where diversity and inclusion have become central to casting decisions, the dwarfs were either reimagined beyond recognition or omitted entirely, leaving audiences feeling alienated. Disney has learned from this misstep, and the new Snow White is rumored to include a more faithful depiction of the dwarfs. Their personalities, quirks, and comedic charm are expected to return, with the studio seeking to strike the perfect balance between staying true to the original while updating their roles for a contemporary audience. This decision is not just about bringing back fan favorites, it's about restoring the heart and humor of the 1937 film. The dwarfs' camaraderie and antics were central to the original, and they must be present in the new version to maintain the fairy tale's charm. The most striking shift in the new Snow White is the film's treatment of the central character. In the 1937 version, Snow White is saved by her prince and lives happily ever after in the traditional fairy tale sense. In contrast, the 2023 remake will see Snow White take charge of her own destiny. She is no longer simply dreaming of true love. Instead, she is focused on becoming the leader she knows she can be. This move reflects a broader cultural shift toward more empowered and independent female characters, especially in a world where the role of women in film and media has been evolving rapidly. The feminist angle is clear. Snow White is no longer a passive figure waiting to be saved by a man. In today's world, audiences expect female protagonists to have agency, to lead their own stories, and to demonstrate personal growth. This approach has raised some eyebrows, but it's also been hailed as a necessary update to the original tale. Snow White is now a modern hero, one who will resonate with audiences who have grown tired of the traditional damsel in distress trope. However, this transformation also raises important questions. Will Disney be able to maintain the romantic and innocent elements that made Snow White so enduring, while also giving her the strength and independence modern viewers expect? The delicate balance between these two aspects of her character will be one of the film's defining features. Disney's decision to update Snow White's character is just one part of a larger puzzle. The studio's creative team is working tirelessly to ensure that the new film maintains the spirit of the original while infusing it with modern touches. From the music to the costumes, the filmmakers are committed to preserving the charm and wonder that made Snow White a classic. Reports suggest that early drafts of the script are focused on maintaining the fairy tale's timeless elements, including the iconic songs and Snow White's relationship with the dwarfs. At the same time, the team is also exploring ways to modernize the film's themes to better resonate with today's audience. It's a fine line to walk. Modernization is essential, but it can't come at the expense of the magical qualities that made Snow White a beloved part of Disney's legacy. The success or failure of Snow White will have broader implications for Hollywood's ongoing reliance on reboots and star-driven projects. If Stone's portrayal of Snow White resonates with audiences, it could set a new precedent for how iconic characters are reimagined. The film could prove that with the right star and the right approach, even the most beloved properties can be successfully revived. However, if the film struggles or fails to meet expectations, it could further fuel the backlash against reboots, forcing studios to rethink their strategies. Disney in particular has a lot riding on this project. The outcome of Snow White may shape the future of nostalgic filmmaking for years to come. For Disney fans, the new Snow White represents both a hope and a challenge. On the one hand, there is excitement at the prospect of seeing one of Disney's most iconic films brought to life with a fresh perspective. On the other hand, there are concerns about whether the film can live up to the legacy of the original. Fans will be looking for a film that captures the magic of Snow White while also introducing something new. They will want to see the classic songs and characters brought to life with modern flair, but they also expect the film to stay true to the core values of the original: kindness, innocence, and the triumph of good over evil. In the end, the new Snow White is a gamble. Disney is hoping that Emma Stone's star power, combined with a creative team dedicated to both tradition and innovation, will create a film that pleases both old and new fans. Whether or not this gamble pays off will depend on a variety of factors, including the chemistry between the cast, the direction of the story, and how well the movie can honor the legacy of the 1937 classic while speaking to the concerns of today's audience. Disney's reputation is on the line, and the future of nostalgic filmmaking may depend on whether this new Snow White can find the perfect balance between reverence and originality.